because I left out some important points yesterday. As I mentioned before, if you want a really classy, maximally configured bicycle, you should build it yourself. It's always going to be better than what you can get from practically anybody. And I have written the book to help you. I have also published a mountain of videos, so you should go through all of them and see what you can do. But if you're building a scooter, I would say, hold on. Calling Dualtron a Chinese company, it's not really a Chinese company, but it does operate in China along with Japan and Germany. And check this out, they have manufacturing going on in China. They have had it since 2014, so about a decade. They also had some Korean built scooters. I imagine the more expensive ones might be more likely to be built in Korea, but you never know. I mean, if it's built in China, it could be just like my Apple laptop, which is absolutely problem free for me. So if there is good management from an advanced country, US, Korea, Japan, whatever, Chinese manufacturing is not necessarily bad. But going back to the cheaper scooters, here is what Amazon has to offer. It's obviously not much, and some of them are actually pretty expensive and they don't give you much. They are utterly ugly and often made by companies that have no support, no back end. They go in and out of the market, and there's really not much of any support you're going to get. And this was one of my arguments about building an e-bike, that if you build it out of generic but high quality component, you'll never be in a tough situation. Now, a few that are worth considering, especially if you don't have a lot of money. I mentioned the Highboy yesterday. Check out the tires. It has a mechanical disc brake, and in my experience those brakes are not very good. I really would prefer to have electronic braking in combination with the mechanical disc. Hydraulic would be even better, but you see the holes in this tire material, which is probably mostly not rubber but something synthetic, so it's not very environmental, but the holes are there because this is not an inflatable tire. It's never going to give you a flat, and the holes give you more of a bit of a suspension. Really creating suspension technology using membranes and holes instead of inflation is something that's been worked on for a very long time for cars as well, but the tires just don't run very smooth. So this technology is not on the market yet, not for cars or motorcycles, but for e-scooters, yes. Yes. And you look at the brakes, they just say front braking, rear braking. This is some kind of AI translation. I don't think you have any kind of regenerative braking. The maximum range is not that great. Your top speed is going to be slightly under 20 miles an hour, which is actually enough if you just want to get something to zip around in the neighborhood. Maybe go to the train station with a 25-mile range. That's not too bad. Now, you can get a seat for this one, and I'm putting links below so you can check them out for yourself. And there is an upgraded motor, but still the 25 miles of range and only 19 miles per hour. So this is not for people who want to go really far or really fast. And of course, I looked at this yesterday, the Bugatti. It is remarkably, I would say, low-end technology for a Bugatti label, for more than 3 times as much as you were paying for the previous one. But on the other hand, I mean, people would buy this for the fun. You could go for dinner in New York and tell everybody that you drive a Bugatti, and then the crowd would come out of the restaurant and see your scooter locked to a lamp post, which would be kind of a fun conversation topic. Now, the power is remarkable. 1,000 watts is a ton, so this thing must accelerate like crazy. Maximum speed 22, not that great, but a range of over 30 miles on a charge is definitely remarkable. Mechanical drum brake, oh, that's horrible. But there is electronic braking as well. But that is actually impressive. On my electrified Brompton Interceptor, I have the stock grip brakes, although with the top of the line pad, and in combination with the 500 watt motor clocked at 700 and having electronic braking, with the two in combination, I can freeze the front wheel. So hydraulic disc braking may not even be necessary if you have electronic braking. And it looks like they have ABS as well. So maybe this is not such a bad buy for $1,600, especially with the Bugatti logo. But I leave that up to you. There is a cheaper version. This is Segway. It's Chinese made, but it has the Segway logo on it. The thing I don't like here is this is a self-healing tire. The self-healing tire has a nasty chemical compound in it. When you puncture the outer tire, the compound is going to flow into the crack and it's gonna seal it in an instant. The trouble is that I would much rather have firm tires and not have this nasty compound add more pressure to the environment. So I'm not crazy about that one. 22 miles per hour. It is very similar to the Highboy that I just looked at, but there are some higher configurations as well. So for 650 you get a bit more power, still the same speed, but hopefully maybe going a little bit farther. And let me just look at the brake. ABS, anti-lock brakes. You can't make this up. I mean, anti-lock brakes you don't even see on an e-bike that costs $5,000. If anybody sees this, let me know. I don't know if there is electronic braking. No, just drum, and they have ABS in the rear, not in the front. But with the $650 configuration, you can get 40 miles on a charge. So I think overall, if you don't have much money to spend, this is a decent option. Can't really complain. And this is the Segway, very much like the Highboy, but has the Segway logo and quality control, which a lot of people like. Now going into what Dualtron is offering, for really not much more than that Bugatti scooter. In fact, in some cases less. I mean, this is much less. $1,100 is a lot less money, and just looking at it, you can see that the construction is way sturdier. It's not entirely handmade. There are prefab components, but the quality looks solid. And this has almost all of their scooters have incredible specs. So maximum speed way above the 20 and 22 we have seen, while maintaining the same distance, 29 miles. Of course, it's heavier with all this extra stuff. Disc brakes, I don't know if you get hydraulic or not, but you get ABS, even for this price, just for $1,100. And another one I would like, that I would consider, would be something that has a lot of travel for urban traffic, but still firm tires and not having to worry about flats. $2,000 is much cheaper than a Brompton electric, almost half. In fact, instead of buying the Brompton electric, you can buy a Brompton steel frame with 3 gears for weekend fun and trip going far away when you want to sit down and sit all day long. And you can get this one for local grocery runs, commuting, and all of that. And check this out, for $2,000, a 50-mile range, maximum speed of 40 miles an hour. It's a heavy scooter, obviously, because of all the technology and the heavy battery that's shoved into it. I should also add that unlike the cheaper product that typically run on no-name Chinese-made batteries, these are much more likely to run on brand name cells. LG is brand name. There's no problem with it. I have not heard of a single fire. So for $2,000, I'd rather get this than just an e-bike if I'm not looking at fun rides and touring and things like that. If I want something like practical urban use, then I will definitely take front and rear suspension, non-inflatable tires, solid braking, EBS, even a bit of lights, although low lights don't really mean much. And finally, mentioned about V-Pad. You could get a Dualtron from a US distributor. If you want the V-Pad, they're probably going to have to order it from Korea. And I emailed them and they responded, so there is customer support. They will send you the parts. This is very high quality scooter, so what they do is they pretty much make it per order. You can see that these are just aluminum sheets. They hand cut, bend, and hand assemble everything. And probably the series are so small that you have to put in the order first and then wait for a few weeks for them to make it. But on the other hand, for the price still below a Brompton electric, you are getting amazing specs with these. They are fast, powerful, and you can have them repair it and or fabricate parts for it for as long as the company is in business. Look at the brakes on it. These are serious brakes. and it's actually a dual fold. It folds in the front but also in the rear. Heavy as hell because of the technology. But this is the top of the line scooter that is still on the market. There have been some other really good scooters. Unfortunately, most of these companies have not made it to the present. So I hope this is going to round up the previous video and fill up some empty space.
I'll be back.